Super A, when unstable is the new superpower. Hey, it's Super A and my clumpy shaker bottle again. Does anyone else feel like dragging yourself out of bed is sometimes harder than saving the world? You're standing in the middle of your living room. The clock just struck 5:30 in the evening, but outside it is already pitch black, freezing, and vaguely threatening. The air in your apartment feels heavy after a grueling workday, and you start to wonder if the sun has permanently abandoned those of us in the northern hemisphere for the last 14 days. On one side of the room, your soft bed is calling your name like the ultimate escape pod, a final act of mercy for a ruined day. On the other side, your gym bag lies sprawled on the floor, glaring up at you with a heavy, invisible judgment. You ask yourself why a task as simple as putting on your sneakers suddenly feels like carrying a mountain on your shoulders. If your lower back just cracked like a glow stick simply from standing up out of that damn office chair, hit the like button right now for roll call. That tension building up in your lumbar spine and glutes from sitting all day is a heavy burden millions of office workers are carrying. And trust me, you are absolutely not alone in this invisible, exhausting battle. I'm just slumped over here in an endless empty void of mid-light sky blue. There are no flashy gym machines around me, no aggressive hype music pushing me to grind. Just me in my skin-tight navy blue bodysuit, bulging with superhero muscles, hastily covered by a wrinkled, sloppy office shirt that reeks of corporate despair. The eyes on my completely smooth mask are just two white, glowing dots, and right now, they are dimming from sheer exhaustion. My grip is involuntarily tightening, making this shaker bottle tremble violently in my hand. It's the most accurate metric showing that my central nervous system is severely overloaded. Don't let this superhuman physique fool you, because my spine just made a horrifying crunching sound a minute ago just from bending over to pick up my laptop charger. Of course, before we dive too deep into this mess, I need to drop a quick disclaimer to protect both of us. Everything I'm sharing today is purely for educational and fitness reference purposes. Being glued to a swivel chair from 8 in the morning until sunset can definitely make your muscles temporarily forget how to function. But please don't rush to self-diagnose those standard office aches as some terrible degenerative medical condition. I encourage you to look inward and patiently listen to your body's creaks and groans instead of harshly judging it. We tend to endlessly punish ourselves when we miss a workout, carrying a heavy blanket of guilt right into our sleep. But let's pause and reframe the issue. The fact that you don't want to push heavy weights after days of chasing deadlines isn't a sign of laziness or weak willpower. It is actually an emergency biological defense mechanism. I've read the latest workforce statistics for the upcoming years, and it's genuinely alarming that roughly 66% of employees are completely overwhelmed, and that number skyrockets to over 80% for the younger generations. The cause isn't just the massive workload dumped on skeleton crews due to labor shortages, it's the constant economic pressure and the feeling that you never have a second to breathe. Even if you work from home and skip the terrible commute, that burnout doesn't magically vanish. Think of your body as a computer's hardware, and your nervous energy as the RAM. When you are sitting there working non-stop, staring intensely at a screen, putting out one corporate fire after another, your sympathetic nervous system is maxed out. It is exactly like having 50 tabs open on your web browser at once, with background apps silently draining your battery. By the end of the day, your RAM is completely fried. The alarm sirens in your head start blaring, demanding a system shutdown because your CPU is critically overheating. My muscles are literally frozen and lagging right now for that exact reason. Forcing a depleted brain to execute high-intensity workouts is like trying to plug a cheap, malfunctioning power bank into a phone that is already overheating. It doesn't charge the battery faster, it just puts the whole system at risk of short-circuiting, damaging the hardware, and crashing entirely. The tragedy is that instead of listening to those survival warnings, we let ourselves be manipulated by the avalanche of garbage fitness information online, forcing our bodies to conform to highly unrealistic standards. So many brothers and sisters in the community have exhaustedly confessed on forums that they completely burned out trying to survive a 5-day workout split just like professional bodybuilders, only finding their stride when they swallowed their pride and shifted to a 3-day full-body routine. Giving their muscles and nervous system the time to breathe ironically yielded the best gains they had ever experienced. Audiences in this digital era are carrying overloaded brains, and many people dealing with ADHD have gratefully shared that they can only maintain a fitness habit when they follow truly minimalist, straight-to-the-point guidance that categorizes priorities. Stripping away the complex matrices of fitness data prevents their brains from being defeated by cognitive overload. The central nervous system fatigue caused by junk training volume or the toxic habit of pushing your body to absolute failure on every single set is the fastest way to destroy your hardware. On top of that, the most malicious malware running in the background is the collection of myths we constantly whisper to each other about recovery techniques. At the top of the disaster list, heavily criticized by the community, is the chronic abuse of painkillers like Tylenol or Advil just to survive post-workout soreness. People have smartly realized that the acute inflammatory response right after a lifting session is actually a vital chemical signal. It's a system notification telling your body to repair and build new muscle tissue. Pumping yourself full of painkillers doesn't just block that inflammation signal and delete all the hard work you just sweat for, but over time, it silently wrecks your liver and stomach. It's like smashing the check engine light on your dashboard instead of opening the hood to fix the motor. Similarly, taking a freezing cold ice bath immediately after a workout is a perfect trap. Many have bluntly pointed out that jumping into ice water right after lifting drastically reduces blood circulation, numbs the pain, but ultimately prolongs and sabotages the natural recovery process. Sometimes those expensive cold plunges are just tools to boost social media credit scores so people can brag online, offering zero core physiological value. Dumping freezing water on yourself when your muscles are inflamed is like force quitting a crucial system update right in the middle of the download. You aren't recovering, you are manually deleting the progress you just built. On the flip side, methods like hot saunas get incredible, genuine praise because they actually promote blood circulation, offer massive cardiovascular benefits, and act as a perfect immune system booster to help you survive those brutal winter months. A sauna isn't a magic muscle building spell, but it works like running a disk defragmenter on your hard drive, clearing out junk files and giving you deep relaxation after intense stress. So what are the mandatory hardware maintenance protocols you actually need to survive without crashing? Let's revert to the absolute basics. The things so obvious you probably accidentally uninstalled them. You complain about lacking the motivation to hit the gym when the sky goes pitch black at 5:30, and your circadian rhythm is wrecked because you haven't seen the sun in weeks. The fix isn't to stubbornly fight the cycles of nature, but to actively supplement with vitamin D. Your body's inability to synthesize enough vitamin D from weak winter sunlight is the root cause making you feel sluggish, depressed, and entirely drained of the willpower to train. Next, stop blindly worshiping protein while ignoring the rest of your nutritional framework. Getting enough healthy fats every single day is massively underrated, but it is a critical requirement for stabilizing your hormones, especially maintaining the testosterone levels needed to build a solid physique. And speaking of protein, keeping things simple by aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound of total body weight has worked wonders for countless people, completely freeing their brains from unnecessary cognitive friction and complicated math. Finally, the most critical piece of hardware needed to reboot your entire system is sleep. Stop the frantic overtraining, eat enough food, and sleep. This is the timeless formula for success. Deep sleep for 7 to 9 hours every night is when your server goes completely offline for maintenance. That is the exact moment your system successfully installs the patch notes to rebuild the micro tears in your muscle fibers. If you don't sleep enough, your operating system will forever be stuck on an outdated, laggy version that is highly vulnerable to stress and incredibly weak. Coupling that with just 10 minutes of meditative breathing every day is the ultimate cortisol reduction tool, disconnecting your nervous system from the toxicity of endless social media scrolling and the invisible pressures of corporate life. What is the most actionable, immediate solution right now? Establish strict boundaries for your physical recovery and treat it with the exact same urgency as meeting your corporate performance metrics. When you walk into the gym with a head heavy from unread emails and a boss's complaints, give yourself permission to leave a few reps in reserve. You do not need to wring out every last drop of your energy just to prove your work ethic to some invisible internet judge. If your body is screaming at you to shut down, bravely initiate the shutdown sequence with dignity. The glowing eyes on my mask are softening now, my grip is loosening so the shaker bottle finally stops vibrating, and my broad shoulders are slowly relaxing into this empty void. I feel an overwhelming sense of relief not having to play the role of a flawless, tireless machine. The underlying message here is crystal clear. If a ridiculously muscular superhero like me feels this rundown and has to bravely confess his helplessness and need for rest, then you absolutely have the right to do the same without carrying any societal guilt or pressure. But hey, don't just take my word for it. If you really want to permanently fry your motherboard, by all means, ignore everything I just said. Keep treating those critical system warnings like annoying pop-up ads. Set your alarm for 4 a.m. after surviving on 3 hours of sleep. Chug a pre-workout that is mostly dry powder and despair, and go grind out heavy deadlifts while your central nervous system is flashing red. Keep trying to be the perfect smiling corporate employee and a flawless shredded fitness influencer at the exact same time. Let's see how long it takes before your hardware completely crashes and you can't even get out of your swivel chair without pulling a hamstring. Go ahead, push your system to the absolute brink. I'll be right here waiting in the void when your blue screen of death finally hits. So there you have it. Turns out I'm not weak. My operating system is just running on Windows 95. See you in the next spiral of confusion.